Who are the coolest dudes on the planet?
United States veterans.
What's the coolest sport on the planet?
Pro wrestling.
And what would be the coolest podcast on the planet? That would be this one.
U.S. military vets talking pro wrestling.
This is the No Shave Man Cave. Two badass disabled vets sharing their love of pro wrestling, giving you their perspective as fans, talking about current events and matches, history of titles, and who knows what else. Let's do it.
Welcome to the No Shave Men Cave. Now your hosts, Ellie Jair and Jay Tilley.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, wrestling fans, and sports entertainment fans, welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. I'm Ellie Jair.
I'm Jay Tilley, in case you're wondering.
Heyo, Tilly with the Millie. Hey man, is there something special about today's episode, sir? Outside of it being talking AEW.
Yes, sir, it is. Kind of let you know right before it came on. I should have waited to surprise you with it on the show, but this is officially our 100th episode. This is our 100th episode of you and I sitting down and talking trash. Now, that doesn't include all the stuff on YouTube. That's kind of solo stuff. That's legit podcast-specific 100th episode.
Our first episode on a phone to here. A trip to Chicago, and now getting ready to book a trip to Philly.
Yep.
We go from Forbidden Door to WrestleMania. God damn, what is next on this wrestling road trip, sir?
I know what we hope is next, but we won't talk about it because I don't want to jinx anything. But we do have some things in the works that could be pretty damn cool for us. Shout out to the Fightful guys for shouting us out on their show tonight. Tonight they should do another shout out for us, so that's appreciated. We saw a huge spike last week when they did it, and for all those that came over from Fightful, truly appreciate it. Love those guys over there and gals. Sorry, I shouldn't be sexist because it's Kate that I've been dealing with the most. Really appreciate everything she's been doing. Some feedback she gave me on the show itself and just in general watching, like taking the time not just to, hey, we're gonna you guys can pay to get sponsored, but instead of just a 30-second read, taking the time to listen to our show, talk about it a little more than what I had expected. So huge shout out, and shout out to everybody who came to listen to us and joined us from them. Appreciate it. Let us know in the comments if Fightful sent you over. I'd appreciate it, just so we can kind of know what kind of a push we got, because I can tell you what the numbers are showing me we got on the audio version or the the video. So I appreciate all that for sure. And then, like I said, maybe some other stuff coming up down the road. We'll see.
Man, there's so much going on in professional wrestling. It doesn't even, not to say that it doesn't matter, but you don't have to be in the WWE or AEW to have something going on in wrestling. There's so many indie shows going on. NWA is still doing their thing. MLW is, starting to gain some steam, and, it's just, Impact is doing some great stuff. It's so freaking cool, man. And, we were talking a little bit earlier. I'm really looking forward to, I feel the direction of women's wrestling and the attitude where it has to be almost like this, like it's a thing, but we got to treat it differently, even though they're wrestlers just like everyone else and they can go. And, AEW has got some fantastic athletes on their roster. Same thing with Ring of Honor. So I'm hoping and praying that, we've already seen historic main events with women, historic main events with African-American women. Ring of Honor just did a main event, with women, and man, and now the rumors of what's going to go on at All In with this four-way and how it may or may not turn out, and this is awesome.
So I feel a certain way about the four-way. Just touching on it, I think I don't know how to put it. I almost think it's an easy way out, in quotations, to get four women on the show. Why not just book two different matches? So I think it's going to be great. Yeah. I think the four of those, what I assume will be the four women in it. Obviously we got the Eliminator next week, but I assume it's going to be, we know it's Sheeta. By the way, congrats to her on first women to main event 2 Dynamites in a row. Awesome. And not only that, the numbers they popped last for the 200th episode was definitely a good direction. But so you got Sheeta. My assumption is going to be Britt Baker. You're going to have Saraya because it's in her hometown. And then the who's the fourth one? Toni Storm. She is using her. So it's going to be a good mix of women. All four are really good and know what they're doing in the ring. But I'd rather see Saraya and Sheeta and then Tony and Britt Baker separately. Like, give them 2 separate matches. But I'll take it. I think it's going to be a great match. And that's not the only match that we got announced for the card. Wow. All in. FTR Young Bucks 3? Yes, please.
Wow.
Like, give it all to me. I want, and I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but I want All In to be like a 4-hour event, 6-hour. I don't care, because factually, it is the biggest wrestling event in history. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an AEW. It is legit money,
crazy,
everything wise, the biggest wrestling event in history. So give me some hype, man.
Like, hard to believe,
let's
man.
go. Let's push it up. Let's pump it up. Let's go nuts. And we'll dive into Dynamite here in a second. But we got a lot of other stuff we're kind of talking about. But man, like 80. So I think I saw the max capacity they've got it set up for is like 80,752 or something like that. And I think they're at 78,000. And I'm sorry, as soon as Omega announces, which I have no idea. I don't know what Omega is going to do, but my guess is going to be something big, and it'll be next week. Probably Takeshita, which may not push the numbers as much as if you were to do a big announcement like Okada or, CM Punk or something like that. But I still think as soon as he announces he'll be there, you'll get another spike in ticket sales. I don't think it's done. I think the Sting announcement with Sting and Darby versus Swerve and AR Fox. Oh, come on, man, that's gonna be great. So I am curious. I haven't looked at the numbers today. I'm curious if they got a spike after Dynamite.
Yeah, you would think that they would have to, and you fantasy book the matches in your head, and then the following weekend they have another pay-per-view. So is it like we're gonna flip the title to flip it back, or it's gonna end hokey, so we're gonna have to do part 2? Omega says, hey, Okada and I have unfinished business, or because I don't recall him being booked for a match yet. And I just, it almost doesn't matter what match with the roster of New Japan, Ring of Honor, and AEW. It's going to be a banger. And, then we get the news 0 hour. Seriously, we're going to get the world champion and Adam Cole, baby, against Aussie Open. Wow.
I'm just glad you brought that up, because I wanted to pick that apart a little bit. I think, in my opinion, and what I think is happening, is I think Adam Cole is playing MJF. I think we're going to see Adam Cole come out of this as the heel at the end of it, because I think he's setting him up to do this tag match to wear him out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the match and Cole feigns an injury or doesn't tag in as much or something. And then we get to the main event and MJF is taking an ass kicking from Aussie Open, because those guys don't go soft. And
they're
legit.
stiff.
So, he comes in all taped up or something, and here Adam Cole is just fine. And it was all a big game from the beginning to earn his trust and do this to him. So I think it's pretty cool. It's some cool booking, and I enjoyed that for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see them break up. I love the dynamics between those two. I think it's fantastic, the bromance they've got. the dodgeball with the kids. the trampoline park. Hey, look how high I can jump. Look how high I can jump. And then you got MJF pegging kids in the face. I was laughing my butt off, man. It was so good. So I don't want to see that come to an end.
I'd love to see him continue it on. You got to get to All In and then All Out. Does something happen? Yeah, I mean, you could book it so many different ways, but I agree with you. I think there's going to be a big double swerve, or maybe MJF beats him to the punch and he becomes that sleazeball heel. But I think Adam Cole would be a really good one. But now with this little ex-girlfriend Roderick Strong feel, the ex-girlfriend vibes, how do you play through that? If Cole is a heel, is he now bringing the kingdom in? So now he's got a faction. If he's a babyface, now he's got, some mid-card folks as his foil for his first challenge. I don't think that's the direction.
I think he's bringing him in. I think it's going to be, and that might lead into some of the story is we get the tag match and the Kingdom come out and jump Cole ringside or something, and then we see him, so MJF is going to carry on the match and do everything he can to try to win for his buddy, and then you find out at the end that he's just fine, or they cut to a clip, Dynamite after the fact. Like,
that would be a good.
Let's say Cole beats him, and it's because MJF is so beat up, Cole ends up beating him. Then you see like Dynamite after the fact, some found footage of them talking in the backstage area, or something like that. Or the opposite, right? Maybe it's gonna be a straight up, they're just gonna remain together, and you're gonna spin off into a feud with the Kingdom and MJF and Adam Cole having that tighter bond going up against the Kingdom with Roderick Strong. And then as a third person, you could bring Wardlow back. Wardlow comes back in and says, hey, I was wrong about you. And like, I see you've changed from when you and I were together. And now you got your third, and now you got a 3-on-3. But fantasy booking, who knows?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good, Yeah, I don't think, obviously we've got the pay-per-view within the next 3 weeks. So, they got to kind of get the story going. But if it was right after All In and All Out, the slow burn, just that story, it is, you're right, it is hilarious. Like, double clothesline.
It's so much fun. It's one of the, I think it's the best storyline going right now, personally. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I don't know where it's going to go. Hell, we just booked 2 to 3 different scenarios that could happen, and knowing AEW, it's going to be something different than all that, and we're going to get swerved even more.
Yeah.
So, I love it. I think it's a great, just a great storyline and some really good booking on their part. And then, speaking about splits and everything, what did you think about the JAS breaking up?
I felt like it was time, and this is a different way of breaking up a faction that's been together for so long, especially when you have that Jericho bond. They've known each other forever. Every iteration of Jericho has had Jake, right there. And then, everybody involved are bigger stars since, meeting up with Jericho, like you said. But is that going to translate into anything on the roster the way it's constructed? And they were always the supporting actor. So hopefully they can continue on with something. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. What is he going to tell Callis? How is that going to go? And then, damn, dude, put a rocket on Guevara and put him back in the world title picture. And you can keep that little pillar thing going with Darby Allin being stuck in a feud, and with the looming retirement of Sting, that could go so many different directions too. So yeah, there's so many different things that they can do now. Garcia can go on and just be like the sleaziest sports entertainer now. Or is he going to... Yeah, hopefully it's the latter, and Garcia stays with the sports entertainer shtick, because I love it. I think it's funny.
Yeah, I do too. So a couple things on the Jericho thing. I thought everybody that did the mic work was really good. It was believable. I felt emotional. However, I wish the rumor and the spoiler, if you want to call it, that we're going to get Jericho and Will Ospreay hadn't leaked, because I think it's a swerve. I think Jericho is going to come out and Don Callis is going to be there. He's like, I fooled you, dumbass. Like, we're never getting broke up. And, and then, Don Callis is mad and he brings in Will Ospreay. So maybe I think that's where they're going to go. But my problem with that is you've got Don Callis, who's like the invisible hand, supposed to be the smartest guy in the room. So does he see that coming? And is he going to be ready for it? I just don't know how they go from what they're doing to Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. Now, the only other thing I can think of is the verbiage wasn't Will Ospreay versus Jericho. It was Will Ospreay and Jericho work. Or Jericho is working Will Ospreay. So maybe they go in as a tag team and we get a tag team match. Maybe those two against Guevara and Garcia. I just don't know. I'm curious where it's all going to go, because I don't think you want Jericho walking into All In as a babyface.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You're not going to get. You're not going to get that crowd to boo Will Ospreay, I don't think. Again, hometown guy. So. But the way the storyline's going, he's kind of a babyface now. Everybody's just abandoned him. He's having to crisis of conscience. He's got to figure out what's right and what he needs to do. So I'm very curious how we're getting from A to Z and how they're gonna. I guess trust the process on this one, but this one's got me stumped. Yeah. Like, how do you?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. How do you? Whoop! It's a big leap of faith. Like, creative is going to be able to make this connection. Would Jericho and Osprey tag when Osprey hates Canada and Jericho's Canadian, or how do you get from there though? And then Aussie Open is on the 0 hour, so you wouldn't involve Aussie Open, Osprey, his faction from New Japan.
And the other wrench in the whole thing
that's a good
is,
one. That's
he's
Will
Ospreay's still going through the G1 and he's advanced, so it's not even he's going to be like freed up to come do any dynamites between now and then, except for maybe the go home show. I don't see the points connecting. I'm very curious. I hope it's not as simple as Don Callis saying, hey, join my team. I can get you a really good match. I'll set you up with Will Ospreay. I can make that happen. Like, what a cop-out that'll be. But it could work. I mean, it's lazy booking. It's very WWE style.
Yeah, it's lazy,
but it could work. I think on the night, though, that match is going to be really good. I think it's going to be a very interesting clash of styles and ages and generations, but I think it'll be a damn good match.
Yeah, I wish like Jericho was, or Osprey is what Jericho was. And this was some kind of like torch passing, and like the value of a win against Jericho, is like the ultimate rub. Like Cody getting his arm raised by Lesnar is extremely significant, because that was like, the curtain call almost, because that wasn't scripted, that was real. And the way this match would go down, they're going to want it to be real. And can Osprey slow down enough to, work a match with Jericho, just like can Jericho speed up enough so they, meet somewhere in the middle? Like, whew, man, that would be something.
Part of my concern is that exact thing is, are they going to be able to, like, I think the match would be great because I don't think either one of them will let it not be. However, I could see it being clunky in places just because they've never worked together that I know of. They may have worked together in New Japan. I'm not sure. Yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, it's a lot of pressure on Jericho, in all honesty, because that'll be a marquee matchup at the biggest event that you're going to have, and 80,000 people singing Judas.
Oh my God, that is going to be so loud.
He's got to be able to carry, I don't want to say carry Ospreay, because that's not it, but he's going to have to be able to
hang,
not look old and slow.
Yes.
Like,
that's,
no offense to Jericho.
No.
I don't mean that in an insulting way, but anybody looks old and slow next to Ospreay if they're not able to keep up with him that way. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. And speaking of looking old and slow, though, man, I think the Hardys.
It's time.
Did you know? That's where I was going, huh? I could see it in your face. I've been a Hardys fan forever, a long time. I watched them against the Young Bucks. They lost against the Young Bucks. And I was like, show the respect, take your boots off. And I don't want to tell anybody how to run their career. If they're still loving it and doing it and bumping around, that's fine. But I had a mediocre bar for that match, and it didn't even hit that, because the Young Bucks tried. Now, for a tune-up match for the Young Bucks who haven't done tag team in a while, okay, that's fine. And I think the FTR match is going to blow us out of just going to be amazing, because the first two were amazing.
Yeah.
But for the Hardys, man, I'm ready for them to just kind of go, okay, like, we know we're the old guys in the room now, which I can't even say that, because then look at Sting, right? He's taking bumps off of tables and knocking teeth out. And now he's going to go against Swerve and AR Fox, two of the fastest dudes there are.
Yeah, that's going to be another one. That's going to be one of those, like, you can have a 5-star match with a broomstick. Sting, I need you to be a broomstick. Just lay there or stand there and let them
sell some of this stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They try and do the stinger splash on him, and and the whole crowd would just go freaking bonkers. So,
do you think it's going to be his last match?
I want to say yes, but then I think he would want to do it in the States. And
that's
the
true.
Following week, however the match ends, Sting looks at, or, maybe they announce it on Wednesday, I realized that the industry has moved on and I'm moving backwards and you're moving forward, and I want to go out on my shield and I'm challenging you to a all out. Maybe
that's a good idea.
So, kind of like how the matches at Payback are going to be no shit. Like, I'm going to get payback on you. So know, who does Cody want to get payback for? Is it, Finn for something that happened on the indies? Is it, Orton shows up, even though he's probably not medically ready yet. Like, hey, where were my shout outs when you were talking about being mentored and all that? Do you remember me? I was there, your first match. I held your little hand when you were still wet behind these bubbles. So, but yeah, I can't wait to see how they get everything in the neat little package and send Sting off the right way. And
80,000,
dude,
yeah,
maybe that is the right way. Maybe, he's not going to be in he's not going to be around a bigger crowd. I think you're right. Yeah.
I like your idea though, like AR Fox and Swerve win because Sting gets beat, and then the next week he comes out and says, "Hey, I've cost you a match. I think it's time, and let's at All Out next week. You and I have it, and it'll be my final match." Because then you got that 80,000 people pop, which is going to be awesome, and then he can go out if he wants to. The rumor was he wanted to retire, so it's got to be coming soon. But see some of the stuff he's doing, it's like, dude, save yourself.
Yeah.
Save your bump card. It's full.
Yeah.
You're on your third bump card. You don't need another one. You're good to go, brother.
Yeah. He's in the WWE Hall of Fame. I believe he's in the TNA Hall of Fame. AEW, when they get a Hall of Fame, he'll be in that. He's probably in every International Wrestling Hall of Fame. Yeah, he's been there, done that, got a couple T-shirts, and it's this huge changing of the guard, right? So what's up?
No, I was just side thought. Speaking of T-shirts, I know somebody going to All In, and I'm going to be like, hey. Triple X All In shirt, please, sir. Thank you.
I was there. Snicker. The
sorry, I totally
been there, done
derailed
that. You. T-shirt. Changing of the guard. Yeah, we've got all of our, all the guys and girls that we watched and enjoyed. Hardys. It's time for them to go. And we remember them when they were the Hardy Boys, like they were boys. And you look at AJ Styles now, Samoa Joe. They're all toward their end of their career, and the industry is in really good hands. And I think we're in a really cool place. And thank AEW for being that sort of catalyst for the industry. And the indies are better. WWE is significantly better. Impact is better. NWA still wants to be NWA, so they've got whatever niche that they feel that they want to fill. So yeah, dude, I'm glad AEW's here, and I am stoked for this card. I look forward to Collision and Dynamite. Rampage is still kind of growing on me every now and then.
And that parking lot brawl last week, though,
dude, that was great. Yeah, that was very cool. Definitely catch that one if you haven't. That's up there with some of the more entertaining storytelling that AEW has done.
So speaking of that, what do you think the BCC and Mox are going to do for All In? I'm wondering if the Pac being injured thing isn't as serious, and we're going to see Pac join Death Triangle, and we'll get Death Triangle versus BCC. Just because the way the match ended with them taking the mask and beating them down real good, and again, Pac, hometown guy. I don't know. Moxley and the BCC are going to be there.
Yeah.
It would be a shame if Pac misses it. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if this is going to be, hey, I'm not as hurt as you thought, and he's going to show up and we'll have a triple threat match.
Yeah. Yeah. What's Orange Cassidy doing right now? Have they announced him for?
Nope, not yet. So the other rumor was Moxley versus Orange Cassidy for the international title, which I'm down for that too.
Yeah, that would
Let's
be
do that.
Nuts. Instant credibility for that title. And, this would be a case of a man making a title. What does that do now for the world title that Punk is carrying around? So it's, that's going to be a weird one. So Cole beats MJF. MJF then bumps into CM Punk in a promo, and then they jump into a program for the real world title because no one ever beat him for that title. Blah 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 something. But yeah, there's so many things going on with AEW, and it's like and it's not obvious, which is so much fun.
Yeah.
And, like when we were talking during our Remember 22 episode, where we feel like wrestling is a sort of a safe place to, be ourselves and, that suspended belief. And AEW is like the perfect prescription for someone who's frustrated with wrestling, who can only watch bits and pieces of Lucha Underground on YouTube. So the best alternative...
You had to get it in somewhere, huh?
The best alternative is AEW and Ring of Honor. And when we were talking about Ring of Honor getting like a dedicated show or streaming service on Paramount, that's a must.
You mean AEW, right?
Ring of Honor is supposed to get, they're supposed to have a dedicated show.
Oh, okay.
Although
I thought they already had theirs.
It's
Isn't that what the Honor Club is?
no, but what I'm saying is they would get a show on a network like So if you get Paramount Plus, you can watch Ring of Honor. Well, shit, I'm gonna go get Paramount Plus because I really like Ring of Honor. Not just because I want to watch all the episodes of 1883, which is a damn good show, man.
Which is a good
Jeez.
show. Yep. I was like, man, don't knock it, though. That's a good one. So is what was the next one? 1922?
That girl's voice when she's narrating,
Yeah.
I'm like, why did it have to go that way?
Yep. Yeah, those are both really good shows. You know what's funny is I've never watched Yellowstone.
Really?
So I haven't seen what started the whole thing. So I probably should go back and watch this. But yeah, I've never watched Yellowstone.
Wow.
But I have watched 1883 and 1923. Both fantastic.
Awesome.
And I just finished Suits.
Oh, yeah.
Another great show. Just on a random
I got to
thought.
like season 6. And
so I will say that you got to probably the best parts because I liked it up until then. And then after that, I'm like, all right, this is getting kind of silly now.
Off,
but but it was really good the first 6 seasons for sure. See, we don't only talk wrestling, we talk television shows too. And that's something I can go on and on about. I have a list of shows that I recommend people
and
to watch.
AEW is on their 5th year and they get better every episode. And I love the fact that like the first few episodes were kind of clunky and we were bitching and moaning, and then COVID hit. And they changed the game, how we watch wrestling, to the point where WWE had to catch up with AEW. And it's hard to believe when the juggernaut, the 60-year juggernaut, has to pivot. And that's as a big machine to turn, where AEW was quickly able to pivot over to Daly's Place, where this awesome, intimate, just awesome wrestling experience. And then, WWE thought, well, we could have more people pay to be on the screens and but
and hold up racist signs or Chris Benoit pictures.
And it it served the purpose for what we needed, what we were going through. And, I'm glad AEW was able to not just persevere, but grow into this awesome entity that is professional wrestling, and to the point where they're going to be in freaking damn Wembley and have 80,000+ people screaming, "Oh!" Singing with Jericho or Judas. I'm sorry,
You're going to have the Sting
God.
pop. You're going to get Adam Cole, baby. Oh,
that's going to be
goodness.
on the Richter scale.
And the boom. Yeah. It's going to be insane. But not only they're in Wembley, like their talk is the money deal they're looking at is WWE style. Like they're already looking at WWE like TV buy-ins, and I'm like, there you go. Like, and 5 years old, that's amazing.
Good for them.
And I agree. I think, I agree though. Like I'm curious where they'd be out if COVID didn't happen, because we know they pivoted so well. Like, did that pivot help them or hurt them? Like, would they be bigger and more popular? I'm very curious. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, if they wouldn't have pivoted, because there were talks during all that WWE was going to shut down for a while, and AEW said we're not going to. So WWE had to adjust and not shut down, because they would. To be honest, if they'd have shut down, can you imagine? Everybody would have flooded to. Not everybody, but a lot of people would have flooded over, and it would have probably put AEW ahead of them. So yeah, I'd be curious to. I don't know. It's like one of those what if moments in life. Like, what if wrestling shut down? Like, what would have happened? Whew, that would have sucked. I remember getting so sad when the talk was, hey, they might have to stop doing wrestling. What? No, like, I need that in my life.
You've taken everything else away. There's zero like personal exchange with anyone. I have to wear a mask 24/7. And now you're going to take wrestling? Come on. What else is there damn you, virus. But we persevered, and we quickly became used to professional wrestling and cinematic matches, and odd debuts with Hardy in Jaguar Stadium. You're like, oh.
But we also got things like the Stadium Stampede, which was a blast.
Yeah.
So
man, the good, the bad, the ugly. And, here we are. We're coming full circle. Sheeta is our world champion. And, she's going to have an opportunity to carry the title for the company that she carried during a difficult time into Wembley, get that massive pop. And just imagine when Soraya's name is announced and new. My word.
And I think there's more of a chance of that now with it being a fatal four-way. Although, man, we'll have to do it all in. Ooh, my voice cracked out. Sorry, guys. Puberty. It's hitting me. We'll have to do a all-in preview show because there's a lot of like twists and turns that can happen on this card. And I want to write them down and be like, all right, this is what I think and see how accurate we are. And then, we talked No,
you got the all-in. What's going to happen? What is that going to turn into for All Out? And then what is it going to do for AEW's storyline? The title picture, is there going to be some amazing return that no one saw coming? I love your Pac idea. I really love the Pac idea. Him being English dude, I think that would be cool. And as much as I want to see Aldis come in and sort of be part of Cody's hard times, I don't think he has the clout to make a connection for WWE fans, and they wouldn't want to show.
I thought he signed. I thought I read that he signed a producer role.
Yeah, and
I want to say Fightful
was it
put out that he. Yeah, I want to say that he was backstage at Raw and was in maybe it was the final negotiations, but to be a producer, not on-screen talent. So he's going WWE from what I understand.
I read for Robert Roode that he was behind the scenes now. Yeah, I was hoping that all this thing was a nasty rumor. He needs to be in the ring, man. Damn.
It still might be. If it wasn't Fightful, it could still be a nasty rumor. But Fightful's pretty good. And I honestly don't remember where I heard it, but I did hear that. The other rumor, though, is that Nigel McGuinness is going to come out of retirement and take on Danielson. So that would be another great pop for one, and just a really monumental thing. I have a feeling that was the plan prior to him breaking his arm, so I'm curious.
I still can't believe he did that move with his leg. He was like, "Argh."
Oh, no.
That had to hurt.
So, yeah, but I'm curious if that's been delayed. Like, I don't know where he's at on his healing scale. Like, is he going to be good to go? Is it enough time to rehab and be ready? It's probably not. That was a pretty significant break.
That looked gnarly, man.
It was a brutal looking.
So,
break.
What did you think of the attack on Penta and taking off the mask?
So, if they haven't done it a bunch of times, I'd have been more like it'd hit more. But I feel like damn Penta loses his mask all the time. Like he lost it during the feud with FDR. He lost it during the feud to the Young Bucks. Like I feel like it's a thing that just happens now. And it's a shame because I thought the beatdown in general was really good. The Phoenix selling the knee when he did that dive even made me go, oh, he hurt himself. And then them attacking the knee on top of it. That's when I was like, all right, it's a work, but that was really good. So I thought the attack looked good. And then Mox yelling down the camera, Eagles don't attack flies. I was like, ooh-wee. All right there. That's the Mox I want to see. But that's what I think is going to lead to Pac coming back is because they didn't just end it. It didn't just end as a match and feud's going to continue. Are we going to get another? Man, I don't know. I would rather see I'd rather see Moxley and Cassidy, I think, than the three-way. So maybe they sell the Phoenix injury and it's Pac and
Penta versus
Yuta.
Shit, and then Claudio isn't going to defend his world title.
Claudio. Oh yeah, that's another part of it, right? Maybe Pac shows up and challenges Claudio. I don't know. That'd be good too. Get Pac in there and have him beat Claudio. That'd be a good pop. But again, I don't know how serious the injury is, if it's legit. So that's the one thing I love about AEW, man. You never know, you know? And then Statlander, what's she going to do it all in? Is it going to be a rematch with Martinez? Yeah, there's so many questions on this card still. And the fact that they've already almost sold 80,000 tickets blows my mind.
Your card isn't even solid yet. You're a company that's 5 years old, and I don't know why this seems so significant because the company's 5 years old. But you hear Super Bowl, and you're like, okay, tickets are $2,000 instantly. Before you even know what teams are even in it, you hear Super Bowl in this city. You're like, okay, room is going to be 5 times the price, blah, blah, blah. But you hear oh yeah, dude, I'm going to All In. And it's just like to be in the DNA and be such a strong thing already. I'm just blown away. I'm so happy for them, so happy for the industry, and it gives us even more to talk about because you can book it so many different ways, to the pay-per-view, out of the pay-per-view, to the next storyline, out of this storyline. Okay, if we get a double swerve and you're going to get this, that, and the other. Oh my God. And then you come out with something. It's just so much fun. And, we've got the 4-way for the women's world title. You've got the all of the different titles that haven't been decided. You hear MJF main eventing with Adam Cole. Sign here, buddy. Like, wow. That's just wow.
Yep. And the other thing about it with the 80,000 people, it's just a mad number to think about, right? But what do they do next year to top it? Like, how do they? And I know Tony Khan has said he wants All In, All Out to kind of be his WrestleMania weekend. And I like his approach to it, to do it 2 weekends apart and do 2 different cities. I think that's a good way to do it. But I just don't know if you're going to get an 80,000 person crowd in the States right now. Just looking at what they're selling right now, where they're at in the markets, I don't see it happening. However, if All In is a huge success and it's this big grandiose thing, and next year they go to Ireland at a big stadium and they do 90,000 people or whatever, then you start building that buzz up about, oh man, this is a destination to go to. You go to Japan and sell at the Tokyo Dome.
God.
For
imagine
an AEW All In show,
an
right?
American promotion selling out the Tokyo Dome and Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega main event.
Forget it, man. It'd be so good. Well, I mean, I know he wanted to do Forbidden Door 2. Original talk was to try to go to the Tokyo Dome. So, that'd be, or the Sumo Hall, whatever that one is. I forget what it's called.
That'd be nuts.
So you build that buzz around it, and next thing you know, you could draw those numbers to the States. Because not that I'm saying WWE doesn't have 80,000 millions of fans or whatever it is, but most of the people that, I wouldn't say most, people that go to WrestleMania are probably those guys that just watch WrestleMania. Or, they're not fanatics, let's say, kind of like, that's a pun there because Fanatics owns their shop anyway. But they're not like the crazy AEW fans where, it's more, I guess, casual. I don't like the term casual fan, but I feel like WrestleMania packs those WrestleMania buildings with casual fans a lot. And I may be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but we'll find out in Philadelphia next year.
You'll see, there's a percentage that's media. There's a percentage that's, all the television. There's the percentage that just want to be seen there. And then, you have all the other ancillary stuff that's occurring around WrestleMania week with the impacts and the WrestleCons. There's this thing called The Gathering when all wrestlers get together. It's similar to a WrestleCon. And just everything that comes along with WrestleMania weekend, AEW could easily figure that out because they just get their marketing and rah-rah team from the Jags. And, they use that model for when they're the away team and how do they get the pockets of fans. I think AEW can do it, and wrestling fans have shown that they will freaking travel to hell and back to see AEW, and man, we're going to have a good time doing it. So looking forward to whatever the next show is that we end up attending for AEW because they are so much fun.
Absolutely. Well, with that, I think it's a good place to wrap. If you're having fun listening to us talk about having fun, check us out wherever you get your podcasts from. No Shave Man Cave is us. That's us. No shaving, get it? Haha. But No Shave Man Cave, wherever you get your podcasts from, Apple, Spotify, all that stuff. Please, please, please like, give us a review, all that good stuff, so we can continue to grow and hit the metrics. Just fun fact, we hit 74 in the Apple iTunes Wrestling US podcast was the highest. We dropped it back down a little, but we hit up to 74. So that's huge, top 100, right? So that's pretty cool. For a young fledgling duo who is scrambling to find their way in this podcasting YouTube world. But appreciate all the love and support from everybody. Follow us on our socials, No Shave Man Cave on X, Threads, all that other good stuff, TikTok, wherever you get your social media from. I probably eventually need to build that Facebook page. It's probably a good idea. So I'll look at doing that sometime this weekend. Watch us live every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Again, that's 6 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube and Rumble. We're here. We're going to chat. hour, 45 minutes, whatever we decide. But check us out. And then Saturdays, be on the lookout at the Fantasy Sports Corporation channel, Fantasy Sports Core channel. We go live and kind of do a wrestling week review and wrap up there. Good folks there, a lot of fun stuff. They helped us out along the way, so we're going to plug them for sure and have them, check out over there. And if you like football and fantasy sports and anything else, they've got it all covered for you. So check them out. Again, appreciate everybody listening. Give us a like, a subscribe, a follow, all that fun stuff so you can be notified when we go live. Big news coming up on the 22nd of this month. We have a pretty special guest. Spoiler, we pre-recorded it, but that's all right. It's not coming out to the 22nd. Special guest, got a little heavy, got into some really good wrestling talk, so looking forward to putting that one out. And shout out to our guest, and we'll start plugging it a little more as we get closer. That's all I got. I'm going to do the hot tag out.
Bump and feed, bump and feed. Yes, sir. Happy, celebratory 100. Can't believe it. We went from the couch to the century mark in such a short time. Appreciate everybody being on this ride with us. Kamish and the whole crew over at Fantasy Sports Corp. And to all of our sponsors, really, really appreciate it. ACAST has been the best. Not as good as this tag team here. Your favorite veterans talking wrestling whenever we can. Like, share, subscribe. And until next time, my friends, my fam, make sure your brothers and sisters in arms know that we love you. Hurry up, get your ass home. We really appreciate what you're doing for us. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the floor.
You've been listening to the No Shave Men Cave.
If it's pro wrestling, we're talking about it. Unless we see something shiny and wander off into the woods. If you hang around long enough, we'll eventually come back. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Fire off your comments and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit us up on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at No Shave Men Cave. Y'all be cool, and we'll see you next time on the floor.